AIO by stepping back from my parents after finding out how they plan to leave everything to my older sister? I'm 27F, and I have an older sister who's 35F. Growing up, my parents were always very big on independence and responsibility. They made it clear that once we became adults, we were expected to handle our own lives. I really took that to heart. I worked through college, lived with roommates to keep my expenses down, and built everything for myself step by step without asking them for help. It wasn't always easy, but I'm genuinely proud of where I've ended up. I have a stable career now, I'm in a good relationship, and for the first time in a long time, my life feels steady. My sister's path has been very different. She's never really been able to get fully settled. She has tried a few different jobs over the years, but nothing has really stuck. There always seems to be some new issue, some reason it doesn't work out. My parents have stepped in over and over again, helping her with rent, paying bills when she gets behind, and giving her money to help her make it through the month. For a long time, I told myself it wasn't worth keeping score. I figured maybe that was just how families were supposed to work, helping the person who needed it more. But a few days ago, when we all got together this summer, they brought up something that really threw me off. My parents asked to speak to both of us about their future plans. They're getting older, and their health hasn't been great, so they've started putting things in order legally. During that conversation, they told us that most of what they have, including the house and their savings, will go to my sister. Their reasoning was that she won't be able to manage on her own without that support. Then, almost immediately after saying that, they told me they want me to be the one handling everything else. Medical decisions, finances, paperwork, basically making sure everything is taken care of if something happens to them. I don't think I've ever felt that kind of quiet resentment before. It wasn't even really about the money. It was the feeling that I've spent my whole adult life proving I can stand on my own, and somehow that has turned into me being expected to carry everyone else too. I tried to explain how hurtful that felt, but they kept telling me I should be more understanding. Since then, something in me has shifted. I don't call as often. I don't jump in to help the way I used to. When my dad asked me to come over and help sort through some documents last week, I told him I couldn't and that maybe my sister should start taking on some of that responsibility. That didn't go over well. My sister called me afterward, sounding uncomfortable and apologizing even though none of this is really her fault. I told her I wasn't angry at her, I was hurt by the way our parents are treating us differently. Now everything feels tense. Every interaction feels careful and strained. I feel guilty abandoning them, but it's unfair I take all the responsibility while my sister gets all the support. AIO? Editor's note: OOP did not leave any comments in this original post. Top comments. Note: nor equals not overreacting. Commenter 1: nor if they are leaving everything to her, then she, editor's note, sister, needs to step up and do the hard part, because trust me when I say trying to take care of aging parents is hard. Commenter 2: they will give everything to older sis who will piss it away and still expect little sister to help her out of the mess. Everything should go into a trust and OP should be the responsible party. Commenter 3: decline to be POA, being designated as medical durable power of attorney etc. If the still name you as executor of their will, you do not have to accept. Say no. Maybe they need to sit down with lawyer and a financial advisor and set up a legal trust for sister so you don't need to be involved at all. You have every right to feel like you do. Commenter 4: nor. They're telling you that you should do all the work, and then let your sister take all the money and property. And that won't be the end of it. I bet you'll have to help your sister once she blows through the money and can't afford the house. I would go no contact. If the sister is getting the bulk of the inheritance, then she needs to do the work, and step up. I think it's imperative that you take a large step back. Your parents created a monster not really capable of surviving on her own, and they're setting you up to be her parent once they're gone. Update: AIO by stepping back from my parents after finding out how they plan to leave everything to my older sister? So after reading through all the advice and messages, I realized the sooner I stepped back from this situation, the better it would be for me. I called my parents today and tried to explain how I felt. Part of me still hoped they might understand, even though I knew they probably wouldn't. I gave specific examples, how I've supported myself since college and never asked them for financial help, while they've consistently stepped in for my sister when she struggled. I brought up the estate conversation too. It hurt to hear that most of what they have will go to her because she needs it more, while I'm expected to take on all the responsibility, medical decisions, finances, paperwork when things get difficult. It made me feel like my role in the family is based on what I can handle, not how I'm valued as their child. They didn't really let me finish. They kept interrupting and repeating that I'm independent and capable and that my sister isn't, so this is just how it has to be. When I said it still felt unfair, they got defensive and told me not to expect anything from them. At one point, they even said that if I truly cared, I should be helping more with my mom's care. That was the point where something clicked for me. Being capable doesn't mean I don't have limits, and it doesn't mean I should carry everything. I told them I couldn't accept a situation where I'm excluded from support but expected to take on all the responsibility. I said they should completely remove me from their will and any roles like executor or medical power of attorney. I don't want anything from them, financially or otherwise. I also told them they should plan accordingly, whether that means hiring help or making other arrangements, because I'm no longer willing to take that on. The call ended badly. There was a lot of yelling and crying, and I eventually hung up. But afterward, I felt something I hadn't felt in a while: relief. Like a weight I didn't even fully realize I was carrying is finally gone. I have a good life. I have a supportive partner, a stable home, and I'm preparing to start my PhD. We're even talking about starting a family. For the first time, I feel like I can focus on my own future without this constant sense of obligation hanging over me. I don't know what happens next with my parents, and I'm sure things will stay tense for a while. But for now, I feel at peace with the boundary I set. TLDR, I stepped away from the responsibility they expected me to carry and chose to prioritize my own life. Editor's note: OOP did not leave any comments in the update. If you enjoy Reddit stories, hit the like button and subscribe. Now, let's jump right into today's story. ITA for telling my husband he ruined my birthday. Again. Background: today is my 28th birthday. I am really into birthdays and holidays and believe in celebrating them to the max, and this is well known to everyone. I'm also the planner and the giver in not only my family, husband and kids, but my extended family, parents, siblings, friends, etc., so I'm the one that plans birthday get-togethers, gifts, travel, etc. I'm also a SOM due to having a son with complex medical and behavioral needs. I've been with him 24/7 for the last week as it's school break, and he's extremely clingy and has behavioral problems due to mental illnesses. I also had an upper respiratory cold during this time, sore throat, fever, cough, runny nose, earache. But kept up with mom duties nonetheless. My husband's birthday was last month, and as usual I planned something for him. Weekend in a town a couple hours away for us and our kids. For my birthday I tell him I just want help with the kids, the house cleaned, a nap, and him to cook supper or take me out. Maybe a homemade gift from the kids and a cake. Yesterday, my husband starts complaining of a sore throat. I check his throat and looks fine. No fever or other symptoms. He stays up all night playing video games. This morning he says he is sick, but has no visible symptoms. No fever, no cough, no runny nose, doesn't sound like someone with a cold. He says his throat hurts but spent an hour on Xbox Live talking just fine. He naps all day because he says he's sick. I think it's because he stayed up until 4 a.m. playing video games. Meanwhile I make my own cake, take care of the kids as usual, and do my usual chores. He didn't even tell me happy birthday. Finally I decided to take the cake I made with the kids to my parents' house to have supper there so I didn't have to cook. I'm pretty crabby at this point and don't say a word before we leave. He calls and asks why we left. I tell him because he ruined my birthday yet again and I'm trying to salvage it at least a little, and hung up. He called back and said I was overreacting. He's sick and I'm an adult. Birthdays aren't a big deal anymore after 21. So AITA for wanting one day to be the receiver instead of the giver? To celebrate myself? Verdict: not the asshole. Relevant comments. NTA. If he cared, he would have tried, sore throat or not. You two need to have a discussion one-on-one, littles need to be somewhere else, about your relationship. Adults need care and attention too, whether you are over 21 or not. ETA, happy birthday cake party popper balloon. Oop. I did forget to mention that when we went out of town for his birthday, I was also sick then too. I have an autoimmune disorder so I get sick a lot, especially during allergy season, but didn't let it stop me from doing anything to celebrate his birthday and made sure he had a good weekend. NTA. But stop doing things for people who don't reciprocate your value, with the exceptions of your children. No more birthday parties for these lazy people. Let them do their own events. And start having him contribute to the house. Your SOM's duties is only till he comes home, after that it is a shared effort. If he has time to play video games, then he has time to help around the house. If he complains it's cause he has a job, then you get a job. You deserve a break and daycare is better for a child's development anyways. Oop. I 100% would love to go back to work. I've only been a SOM for 3 months and it's not by choice. My son cannot go to daycare of after-school care. Long story, but he did go for 6 years and it's not an option anymore. Can you get a part-time job where you only work when your kids are in school? Oop. I'm going to try next school year. I live in BFE so the only option would be to work at the school in the office or as a para, and they only hire a month before school starts to start at the beginning of the school year. I should be able to get the job because of my education and experience, if one is open. I'm also training to be a special education parent advocate, so once I'm done with training I can do that part-time during school hours and work from home. Top comment. NTA. You did your job in communicating what you wanted. The fact that he did not show any concern for you shows a lot. Caregivers need care too. You did not ask for advice, but I want to suggest the following: don't bother with his birthday. Make plans on your birthday with others who are willing to celebrate you. You do not have to share your plans with him, he's irrelevant. Birthdays are nothing to him, so your plans don't need to involve him in any way. Finally, a belated happy birthday. Parenting is a thankless job, but it sounds like you are rocking it. OOP updated the same post 1 year later. Year later update because I've been asked for it a few times. Wow, I did not know this would blow up like that when I posted it. Shortly after my birthday and this post, I had several sit-down talks with my husband. A lot of his lack of effort stems from the way he was raised. He actually started therapy shortly after our talk and has become a lot more attentive. We found out I was pregnant in October, a huge surprise as I didn't get pregnant after 5 years of trying and 2 years of fertility treatment. My pregnancy has been high risk and very rough on me emotionally and physically. I have a lot of restrictions and recently was put on bed rest after already being on minimum activity/light duty. He's been amazing at taking care of me, the house, the kids, and even helping a lot while my mom has been in and out of hospital for aneurysm and strokes. For my birthday this year, he got me a gift, made what I wanted for supper, steak, lobster tail, mussels, Brussels sprouts, and bread, and got my current favorite dessert. We were limited on what we could do because of my pregnancy restrictions, but he got a chick flick movie going for us in the evening and watched it with me without a complaint. And he was the first one to tell me happy birthday, right at midnight. I want to thank all of you for giving me insight, advice, and courage. Comments.
That was an unexpected outcome. Saw your comment before reading the full post, thought it'd be one of those that gave me emotional and psychological whiplash. Read the post, was relieved. My eyes rolled right out of my skull when she said she got pregnant again though. She already was caring for a special needs kid and her husband was not very helpful previously. I'm not sure why she said they were trying after all of that. Edit. To those saying that they were trying before all of this, and doesn't count since this pregnancy was an accident, Opie made a post about her husband's behavior and attitude. Unless it was only happening that month, doubtful as he ruined 2 of her birthdays, it is much more likely he has been like this for years, long enough to warrant Opie to post about it online, and yet they were trying to have children. Maybe his behavior didn't show at the time, but they still had another kid after. So, caring for a special needs child who can't go to daycare, and dealing with an autoimmune disorder herself, and she has another kid. Just, wow. People really like to live life on hard mode. A decade of Reddit did not prepare me for that update, especially with a reasonable time frame. If she had written this a month after the first post, I'd be reluctant to see it as a good outcome, but a year is time enough to see lasting, meaningful change and new, healthy habits being formed. My husband was similarly inattentive and changed his ways after I addressed the issue several times. So I guess growth is possible. Let's hope the change is permanent. I was truly expecting a "this is me enjoying my birthday this year without my ex-husband" update, so this was surprising. And for the people who are commenting, bare minimum effort, the important thing is he made her happy and got her what she wanted. She specifically said she's pregnant and couldn't do much. When I was pregnant, I was exhausted. This sounds like a great way to spend her day. Reddit can be way too harsh sometimes. The bar has to start somewhere, give some grace.
Aita because I told my best friend that he had ruined his relationship and now has to live with it? Hi everyone. I have an old childhood friend, let's call him Florian. Our mothers are best friends, and we grew up like siblings. Florian was with Clara until about 6 months ago. They were together for over 10 years. Clara is an old school friend of ours, and the 3 of us have been friends forever, even before they became a couple. We always did things together as a foursome, my boyfriend, Clara, him, and me, and we even went on vacation together quite often. A little over a year ago, Florian came to me and said he felt like he was missing out on something and wanted to try an open relationship with Clara. He wanted advice on how to bring it up. I told him I thought it was a really stupid idea and didn't believe Clara would want it. To make a long story short, she didn't want it, so he gave her an ultimatum. After he pressured her into the open relationship, he immediately started something with his colleague. I still think she was the reason for the open relationship. Clara was devastated. When he had another date, we had a girls' night out. That's where she met Mark. There was a huge spark between them, and they started dating. I'm not proud of it, but I told Florian he absolutely had to stop with that crap if he didn't want to lose her. He didn't take me seriously, not until she left him for Mark. I was always there for him and comforted him. He wanted me to cut off contact with her and talked badly about her. I told him I'd always be there for him, but I wasn't going to give up our friendship. I told him he had to stop talking badly about her because she didn't deserve it, and that's just the risk of an open relationship. Yesterday, we went out to dinner with friends, and she joined us on her own. We were already a little tipsy by then. He immediately said, "Oh, trouble in paradise. Guess he was the wrong guy for you after all." The mood was instantly ruined. She said she hadn't brought him along out of respect. He said she could have thought about it before she cheated. I told him to just drop it. Then he started lashing out at me, saying I was so disloyal and that I should have stopped it, and a lot of other things. Unfortunately, I got a little louder and told him he was solely responsible for the end of his relationship and that he should stop always blaming everyone else. He left and hasn't answered his phone or replied since. I called his mom, and she said he doesn't want to talk to me and that she's disappointed I'm not standing by him. I feel so awful about it. Aita? Verdict, not the asshole, Nick das Arschloch. Relevant comments. NDA. You were honest. I personally think that's good too. I also can't understand his whining right now. He wanted an open relationship, immediately start something with his colleague. But his girlfriend cheats? Oh, how I always love stuff like this. They want an open relationship, but when the woman then also has another guy, the world ends. You should think about that beforehand. Oop. I don't know why he said that about cheating either. Especially since we all know how it really was. I also don't understand this stupid trend with an open relationship. See no evil monkey, but I still feel like I've left him in the lurch. Update 1. Hello everyone. Thank you for all your comments. My guilty conscience has been clouding my judgment. To be honest, I still feel really guilty. Confused face. This whole mess is even affecting our families now. Pensive face. We usually celebrate his 26th birthday with his family. This tradition didn't happen during the pandemic. Yesterday, my mother called me downstairs, and his mother was there. She said that my mother had told her a different story about that evening and asked if I could please tell her my side of the story. In his version, Clara and Mark arrived at the restaurant hand in hand, and they kept teasing each other, saying things like, opening up about the relationship was the best thing that ever happened to me. Otherwise, I would never have met the love of my life, etc. He eventually had enough and asked if they could stop teasing. I guess I would have said, serves you right. You wouldn't listen to me. Now she's found someone better, and you're alone. I mean, seriously? I set the record straight, and I was truly moved to tears that he would say such things about me after everything I've done for him. His mom comforted me and said she'd give him a piece of her mind. She must have confronted him because he called me afterward, quite angry, and started yelling at me. I hung up and texted him, I know you're hurt. But that doesn't give you the right to treat me or anyone else like that and spread lies. I don't want any contact with you for now because the friendship is just toxic and is draining me mentally. I hope you realize that with your behavior, you'll lose everyone around you. Start taking responsibility already. I love you and I'm ready to give you a second chance someday, but right now I need some space. I blocked him after that. His family is coming to visit us on the 26th without him. Since Clara, he, and I have the same circle of friends, most of his friends had already turned their backs on him. They only invited him to dinner for my sake. I know it sounds silly, but I feel like my heart has been broken. I hope he'll be back to his old self soon and heal. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. Relevant comments. NDA. The guy is just realizing that he took someone for granted and probably regrets that someone else recognized her worth and appreciates her honestly. He's still in the anger phase of the 5 stages of grief. Next comes bargaining, he'll try to win her back. Depression, I can't shake it off. And hopefully acceptance, messed around, found out. If you're ready for it, gentle questions, why are you so mad, how can we get past this, can help. But he might not be able to move out of the anger or bargaining phase, too much delusional thinking. Oop. I tried to have a clarifying conversation with him, but he's not ready for it yet. I understand that he's angry. But I believe he will only get out of the anger phase once he seriously acknowledges his mistakes. Update 2. Hello everyone. First of all, I wish you all a happy new year and wanted to thank you for the numerous comments. I received a notification that my update was deleted because it violated the rules. I've now reposted it here. Florian is now history. I don't know what's wrong with him, but I don't care anymore. He's found a new target for his anger, namely me. He gossiped to our friends, saying that I was to blame for his relationship breaking up. He claimed I had set Clara up with Mark, remember, I even warned him that Mark was a threat. Apparently, a few other unpleasant insults were exchanged when the others contradicted him. He gave them an ultimatum, Clara and me, or him. Well, the others told him they didn't want anything to do with him anymore because they were simply fed up with his antics and uninvited him from our New Year's trip. One of the group has a cabin in Austria, and we go there every year for New Year's. I've completely cut off contact with him now. In his frenzy to badmouth me, he even told some stories that only he knows about me. I just can't trust him anymore. I also have to say that it felt incredibly good to meet up with my friends without him. There was no drama, and we were able to really talk about what's going on in our lives again. It was truly relaxing and wonderful. I wish Florian all the best, but I don't need someone like him in my life. Comments.
Florian keeps making ultimatums. Open relationship or splitting. Telling OOP to choose Clara or him. Telling the rest of his friends to choose him or OOP and Clara, and seems shocked every single time that this goes badly for him. When is he going to figure out that this is not a winning strategy? Especially when, for the last 2, he was lying and he knew he was lying, and he knew everyone he was talking to actively knew he was lying. The story he told his mom was so distorted it wasn't even a reasonably stretched interpretation of a truth. All of his friends knew about the open relationship. I refuse to believe his relationship with Clara was fine before this. Even without the crushing weight of an open relationship that wasn't wanted forced on her, I bet anything once Clara started dating someone who was a reasonable person, she started to realize a bunch of fucked up things about her relationship. It's always so amazing to me, too, How men can compartmentalize their lives so intensely. They will literally be different humans to their friends and to their girlfriends. His friends didn't even realize how garbage he was until his relationship exploded all over the friend group, and they've been friends with him for, like, a decade. I knew a guy that spent his whole marriage cheating, and yet, at the same time, he was helping his elderly neighbor with getting groceries and having his son mow her lawn and checking in on her. How could he treat his own wife so poorly and expend all this goodwill on his neighbor? People frequently can be both great people and terrible people, depending on the circumstances. To give an extreme example, I have family that if you need help, are ready to give the shirt off their back. However, there are also bigots that hold some horrible beliefs. It was one of the hardest things for me to come to terms with growing up, reconciling the two versions of them I was exposed to. This dude really does love ultimatums, doesn't he? You need to choose between me and my insane, creepy jealousy, or the two girls I've been abusing and blaming for everything wrong in my life for months. He doesn't only love ultimatums, he loves stupid ultimatums. I think this is the part that fascinates me the most. He thinks he's playing poker, and he's got a hot hand, but he's playing bridge, and he has 3 magic cards and a subway punch card, and he keeps on yelling all in. The level of delusion, or inability, to read people that he displays is compelling. What are you thinking, my guy? How do you think this is going to go down, and what makes you think people would act that way?
My 23F, BF, 25M, keeps asking me to shave my pubic hair and I'm losing my mind. I've been dating my BF Alex for about a year. Now for some background, I am completely okay with people having preferences around their partner's pubic hair situation. But I have made it a point since I was 20 to tell my partners pretty soon into us hanging out that I do not shave or wax my pubes. I used to do it all the time when I was a teenager and it left me with a bunch of ingrown hairs, rashes, and pain. I realized I was solely doing it for the other person and I preferred some hair on myself. I do trim though. I tell a potential partner/hookup as soon as sex comes up that if they're not okay with dating someone with pubic hair, I respect that, but we're just not compatible. When Alex and I started talking about sex, I told him the exact same thing. He told me there was no issue and he didn't care one way or another. I thought, great, and we began dating with no issues. He's the coolest dude I've ever met and I was seriously considering moving in together around 6 months into us dating. That is, until around 3 months ago. He randomly brought up that he was talking with some friends about manscaping. I also prefer hair on my partners, so I have never asked them to shave or even trim. Alex trims his pubes a little but no shaving, and they were saying how they were lucky all the girls they had hooked up with were cleanly waxed/shaved because pubic hair on women looked gross. He said he didn't agree with them that it was gross for women to have pubes, but that it was weird he was the only guy with a GF that did not shave/wax, so he asked me if I would oblige the request. I told him that I was serious early on about not shaving my pubes and he had agreed to being okay with that and told him I wouldn't shave. I thought that was the end of the convo, but nope. He's been bringing it up around every other week. Every single time I have told him firmly that I will not shave or wax and he has still continued to bring it up. I've asked him why the sudden interest in me being shaved and he says he just thinks it's weird that I don't shave when so many other girls do. I'm at a point where I'm just sick of this and am seriously considering breaking up, but most of my friends think I am being unreasonable and should find another solution. What do you guys think? Edit, he showed me the convo in question and he never mentioned my pubic hair to his friends, only that he agreed the bald look is better on women. As far as I know he doesn't discuss me in that manner to them. Relevant comments. Fuck that guy. No wait. Don't fuck that guy. He changed his mind like he was embarrassed after talking to his buddies. He obviously doesn't have any sense of self-pride. Seems like he would probably have trouble taking up for you and your, at one time, mutual decisions. Public hair is perfectly fine and if he has an issue with it he can go find someone else. There are plenty of great guys who don't care, and some prefer it. You can do better, dude. Oop. Yeah, I think it honestly is coming from a place of feeling embarrassed that he is the only one with a GF that has hair. I'm trying to be understanding, but I feel like it's such a ridiculous thing to be okay with something and then change your mind because of what your friends are saying. He's 25, he's not a teenager. Tell him that his pestering is becoming a huge problem. It's immature. If he is this affected by what other men think, then he's not worth your time. Sit down and have a serious talk, and if he doesn't take your feelings seriously, then that's your answer. You should try to communicate because that's just an important skill, but here's the thing, if you are already considering breaking up, that says everything. It's okay to leave a relationship with someone who's just not worth the fight. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Good luck. It's good that you've stood your ground. Oop. I am planning on speaking with him tonight. It'll hopefully be a come to Jesus talk. I love him and I would like to continue dating him, but I'm bordering on a breakup because I do not understand why my no is not enough, and also his reasoning is frankly super dumb. Even if many girls do it, that doesn't mean I should have to. Update. I wasn't sure if it was worth updating such a small post, but I'm a frequent lurker on this sub and I know I love all kinds of updates, so I figured I'd go ahead. So I spoke to Alex Friday night and I basically just told him I needed him to tell me the truth about what was going on because I wasn't going to keep dealing with him asking me about it every week. I told him I loved him, but he knew before we became official that I did not shave/wax my pubic area, and I didn't understand why he had become so insistent on it. His response was, predicted by at least one of you. He said he was actually never okay with how I kept my pubic area. He said that every girl he had been with before me was clean, his words, and that he decided to put up with hair because he wanted to date me, but that truthfully it grossed him out every time he saw it. He also said that his friends would have never considered dating a woman who didn't take care of herself, again, his words, but that he wanted to look past the physical since he thought I could be special. I was pretty shocked to say the least, since he'd even frequently joke with me about the porn industry's influence on grooming habits. I asked him why he didn't just tell me this as opposed to his ridiculous, most girls do it, argument. He said he just didn't know how to tell me the truth. I asked him if his plan was just to keep asking me until I gave in, and he told me eventually he was going to tell me the truth. Long story short, I ended things. I know it may seem frivolous or petty to some people, but to me it went beyond his preferences for pubic hair. He annoyed me with it for months and stuck to a stupid argument instead of being honest with me. To me, that shows immaturity. He's 25. Not 19. That's not a quality I want in my partner. Oh, and also, I'm not sleeping with someone who thinks having pubic hair makes me gross and unclean. TLDR, kept the pubes, ditched the man. Edit, obligatory, didn't expect this to blow up, etc. Thank you to everyone for the super sweet messages. I'm really not an inspiration though, just a gal who's learning to put her body's health over her partner's comfort. To all of y'all telling me I'm gonna die alone because I won't shave, I like my own company, so woman shrugging light skin tone, that's fine by me. Final comments. I've always hated the clean argument, as if hair is inherently dirty. You're better off without the moron. Oop. My skin looked awful and unhealthy when I was hairless and supposedly clean. I will take hair over gross bumps and scratchy skin any day of the week. Thanks for watching my video. Please like it and subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories.